Okay.
Galing.
Good morning, PE Akada Sean Raimundo.
Nice, Sean.
Let everyone know that Irene, PE Irene of Chemistry, UP Diliman, is our indefatigable, dedicated assistant treasurer of the PAASE.
Oh,
He holds
Yes.
the money.
yep.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of PAASE for Philippine Innovation. I'm Gisela Concepcion of the National Innovation Council and also of PAASE. And I am very excited this morning to share with you what has been done to one of the important projects of UP and the UST. It's known as VISER, and it's along the top priority of the NIC, which is learning and education. So I am happy to say that this project is a direct outcome of past collaborations. And this involves Romel Gomez of the University of Maryland, a former PAASE president, and current Dean of Science of UP Diliman, Dr. Giovanni Tapang. And today we have his PhD graduate and mentee, Dr. Dwight Bruzon join us together with Dean Gani later to tell us more about Visor. So without much further ado, I would like to turn over the floor to my co-host, Dr. Alvin Culaba, Distinguished Professor of De La Salle University, to introduce Dwight and Gani. Thank you.
Hello, thank you very much, Giselle. Good morning again. This is another exciting, discussion to a local, technology developed here in the Philippines, but of course in collaboration with our PAASE colleagues. And later on, we will know more about how this has actually developed. This particular technology has developed that is helping our educational sector. And in fact, this product has been the reason why we made, one of the developers of this technology as corresponding member of the National Academy of Science Technology, Dr. Mel Gomez. But anyway, we will start with the presentation of Dr. Dwight Bruzon, a young scientist, BS, MS, and PhD graduate at the UP Diliman. He completed recently his PhD in material science and engineering, and currently the CEO of a spin-off company, making.technology manufacturing corporation. Dr. Bruzon has an is internationally recognized in the fields of ionic liquids, instrument design for carbon capture and polymer science, and belongs to the laboratory at the National Institute of Physics, where Visor has been developed. Dr. Bruzon will tell us more about this versatile instrumentation system for science education and research. And although he is currently the CEO, according to him, he is also working with two others, in this spin-off company, as he is expected to do his postdoctoral studies at the Instituto Imdea Nanoscientia in Madrid, Spain, this coming April. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Dwight Angelo Bruzon. Okay, I'll introduce later Dr. Tapang. Dwight, the floor is yours.
Okay, allow me to share my screen.
Yeah, it's clear, Dwight. You may proceed.
Okay, so good morning, everyone, and I am here to
Good
talk
morning.
about our spin-off company and Visor. Visor stands for the Versatile Instrumentation System for Science Education and Research. So the motivation for us to do Visor was really the current state of STEM education here in the Philippines. The Philippines is lagging in the global arena in terms of scientific competency and literacy among the youth. No? And this one is the results from the Program for International Student Assessment last 2018. So these results were obtained pre-pandemic. So medyo ideal pa yung educational situation, quote unquote. And yet we ranked the lowest. Our score was even below the OECD average and even below our Southeast Asian counterparts. Last 2022, they released a new, more updated version of the study. And we can see that the Philippines did not significantly improve based on the latest 2022 PISA results. A study conducted by DOST SEI, Science Education Institute, mentioned that while most students recalled terms that were taught inside the classroom, they did not know how to characterize, explain, and relate variables with one another. So they have difficulty in absorbing these scientific concepts and thinking about them in creative and innovative ways. Also, in the same study, the researchers found that students preferred a more learner-centered approach in which they are encouraged to ask questions and to seek answers for themselves. So as such, we want to address this learning gap in science. So in the Philippines, we have limited laboratories and we have limited resources. And the limitation is partly because equipment is very costly here in the Philippines. Commercial data loggers and scientific kits would normally cost around 600 to 800,000 in the Philippine market. So very inaccessible, especially in the public sector. So as such, we developed Visor. Visor is a laboratory in a box, which aims to put modern science laboratories in every school and college by offering low-cost digital tools of learning so that we can equip laboratories and serve as a catalyst in inquiry-based and curiosity-driven learning in science. So basically, we are replacing quote-unquote traditional science equipment such as a microscope, pH meter, thermometer with a more centralized digital platform for doing all these measurements using sensor-based technologies, and we pack it in a box. So whether the school has existing laboratories or not, it won't matter. They can still use Visor. So this is Visor. Though this one is the heart of Visor. So it is the handheld device. It can display graphs, data, tables, and even pictures. So it has a touch screen interface. So it's used like a cell phone. It can accommodate up to a maximum of 4 sensors simultaneously. It can be powered through an outlet. So if it's gonna be used in the classroom or in the lab outlet, if it's gonna be used in the field, it can be powered with a power bank. So currently, we have 19 various sensors and setups, and we also provide students and teachers manual. So Visor is very easy to use. You just simply step 1, plug, and step 2, play. So in this example, we have a pH sensor. You just connect the pH sensor to the handheld device, and it will automatically read the pH of your, for instance, this is a pH 7 buffer. We do have 2 versions of Visor already. The one we released 2016, 2014. This one. So yung old version namin was using a 2-liner LCD display. So since limited kami sa noon hindi pa uso masyado yung touchscreen ano. So limited kami sa options ng technology current quote unquote. And as such, it would only show data, temperature 25 degrees, pH 7, stuff like that. Also, one of the limitations was that it needs a computer to change from one experiment to another. And this one, this particular drawback was not widely accepted by most teachers kasi before laptops were not, hindi lahat may access to computers, quote unquote. It has 4 analog and 4 digital ports. It has no calibration feature. And experiments were based on fields or topics. This one was pre-K to 12, so the topics were sorted by chemistry, physics, biology, the normal high school before. But for the version 2, the one that we just released last 2022, already has a touchscreen interface. Since ganito na yung display niya, it can already display both data, table, graphs, especially for physics experiments, and pictures for microscopy. It does not need a computer to change from one experiment to another, so it can already stand alone. It has 4 sensor ports. It has also a calibration feature for sensors like pH, and experiments are based on K to 12. So for junior high school, that's for grade 7 to grade 10. For senior high school STEM, we have experiments for biology, chemistry, and physics. And then for those taking other tracks na non-STEM like business management, arts and humanities, etc., we have earth and life science and physical science. These are the experiments that we have. So, ayan po. And for each experiment, we do have a dedicated sensor or a setup for it, along with the laboratory manuals and for both the students and the teachers. We patterned our manuals from the DepEd's K to 12 science curriculum, which they released August 2016. So for instance, just to demonstrate for grade 7 first quarter, these are some of the topics. So we're replacing the triple beam balance with a weight sensor. They have the same content standard and learning competency. We're changing the electrolysis apparatus with an adjustable power supply and a voltmeter. the pH meter or a pH paper with a pH sensor, and the electrical conductivity apparatus with a conductivity sensor. So with Visor, we back theory with experiment. In books, for instance, this is how they visualize cell division. But in actual experiments, this is what they observe. So you can see some cells with naghihiwalay na nucleus. Ayan. Feedback. We have been promoting Visor in the whole Philippines. So these are some of the feedback that we obtained. For Ilocos Sur, we've been to Leyte, we've been to Occidental Mindoro, Guimaras, Zamboanga del Sur, in Negros. We also have end users here in NCR, Marikina and Pasig. This was a science workshop that we conducted in Guimaras last year. This was in partnership with the DOST Provincial Office of Guimaras. So they wanted us to conduct science workshops for students to increase the number of applicants for their junior high school scholarship. These were the feedback that we obtained from the event. So 86% mentioned that the students have sparked their curiosity in science. 91% mentioned that Visor was helpful in enhancing their understanding of scientific concepts. And 88% mentioned that they feel more confident in conducting science experiments after using the kit. So these are the actual feedback that we obtained from both the teachers and the students. Allow me to read some of the feedback from the students. I'm very grateful because I learned a lot today. Thank you for choosing our school for this wonderful opportunity. I hope that when I go to college soon, I will pass the exam of DOST so that I can help my family, not by financially, but to make them proud of me. Ayan, so meron na silang applicant. Another which touched my heart is this one. Thank you po because you gave us a chance to have a better experimentation. Kasi nung last year, nag-experiment kami about cells. Yung gamit po namin na microscope is kulang yung parts niya. And I'm glad na ginawa yung all-in-one device yung gagamitin sa pag-experiment, etc. And I know that this will help us students when time comes. Because of this, mas lalo po akong naganahan na kumuha ng STEM strand next year. Ayan. We've also pitched Visor to Ilocos Sur. So this was a technology forum that we conducted in Vigan City in Ilocos Sur last May 2023 as well. So we partnered with the DOST office in Ilocos Sur and also offices from DepEd in Ilocos Sur. So this is Dr. Gemma Takuykuy, the Candon City Schools Division Superintendent, and Dr. Jovita De Castro, the Education Program Supervisor of DepEd Ilocos Sur. We do have a number of engagements to date. We've partnered with the Gokongwei Brothers Foundation and Department of Education during the last DepEd National Learning Camp. I think this was last August. We've been to Jacobo Gonzalez Memorial National High School and the De La Paz National High School. We were present during the 2023 National Youth Science, Technology, and Innovation Festival, also in partnership with the OST. We also participated during the Division Science and Technology Fair in Pasig City in partnership with the DepEd Schools Division of Pasig City and the Pamana Agham with DOST NCR and the Intramuros Administration. Also in partnership with DOST NCR and the Marikina LGU. So we had the Marikina Push for Science campaign. We also conduct science exhibits and workshops with private schools. So this was our first actually, the Our Lady of Perpetual Succor College in Marikina. Trainings and deployments. So we do have a number of end users already. We've deployed, I think, 20 units in Leyte province. So this was our training session. This was the orientation and turnover of Visor units in the Guimaras province. In NCR, we did conduct a training in Pasig City as well. In Manila also, may Manila din po pala kami. So this was a school in Tondo, Manila, Timoteo PAASE Integrated High School. And just last Feb 15, if I'm not mistaken, we also conducted a training in Marikina, in Parang High School in Marikina. So ito, we showed them some of our setups. They were doing microscopy and the teachers kinuha nila yung pina-homework nila sa mga bata na the students prepared slides Tapos they visualize it using our microscope. So ayan, they are integrating Visor already with the homework of the students or the project of the students. So some comments, thank you for this training, very helpful. We are very excited to use this device. Ayan. As mentioned earlier, Visor started with Dr. Giovanni Tapang from UP Diliman, Dr. Romel Gomez from the University of Maryland, USA, and Professor Nelio Altuveros from the UP Los Baños. We do have other collaborators in the different institutes. Dr. Amy Su Martinez from UP Diliman. She was also my MS Chemistry advisor in IC. Dr. Rancibel Rojas Villanueva in UP Los Baños. Dr. Gay Jane Perez from UP Diliman, and Dr. Sonia Jacinto also from UP Diliman. This is our team. We are a small startup company. We're just 6 people. Currently, I am a chemist and the CEO of Making.technology. Hazel Glains-Tales is our finance officer, and she is a physicist. Ralen Rose Gloria Malat-Balat, our operations officer, and she is a computer engineer. And we do have administrative staff, managing paperwork, taxes, etc. Maribel Hernandez, Cristina Beo, and Hope Berto. Acknowledgements. I'd like to acknowledge funding from the DOST Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology Research and Development. So that's DOST PSHERD. And the University of the Philippines System, Office of the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Emerging Interdisciplinary Research Grant, or OVPAA EIDR. Technology Business Incubation, also from Upscale Innovation Hub, and promotion support from DOST National, Regional, and Provincial Offices. So with Visor, we can make an impact. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Dr. Bruzon. I'd like to say that maybe by magnitude of support, you mentioned UST first, but historically, it was the UPEIDR that gave the first funding to to this project, Cycle 1. And when the UST got wind of it, then they gave more support. So thank you for that, Dwight. And well, let's just say that this is one of the success stories in the making. And well, it's taken quite long. And UP ERDFI leaders and we, including my successor at OVPAA, VP Cincha Bautista, we try to follow through the development and the commercialization of Visor. And at some point, we learned that there is a Visor version 2. And I'd like to say that Dr. Mel Gomez is very happy with it. And it's nice to also recognize Dr. Altaveras of UP Los Baños. So I think proper attribution should always be remembered. And so thank you so much, Dwight, for doing that. And so at this point, I would like to turn over the floor to Dr. Alvin Culaba. And in my case, all I'd like to ask is, how are you able to service the orders from the various LGUs and high schools and colleges all over the country? Do you have the production of the of the instruments, including the 3D printed components of it? Where do you source them? At this point, I'd like to know whether you're producing them yourself through your 3D printers, or are you sourcing them elsewhere? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that question. Actually, currently, ma'am, our supply chain is based in parts. What we do is that we buy supplies and components, the circuit boards, the casings, enclosures, and even the LCDs, etc., from China, and then we assemble them in-house. So we reduce the manufacturing to just assembly here in the lab, and mostly the manufacturing of those components, circuit boards, etc., are done offshore. So that way, even with the limited manpower, quote unquote, we can make 10, 20 units a month here in our office.
Thank you. Well, Alvin, just one more question. How is the IP been addressed? Is there IP filing of the second version? And thirdly is, how are you going to create a ripple effect with teaching more teachers, not be averse to or afraid of using these instruments? Thank you.
Okay, so ma'am. So for the IP protection, we recently submitted the version 2 version of the OVCRD forms with the OVCRD. So that includes all the design, the copyright for the version 2 modules, etc. For the next question, how are we able to create a ripple effect? Actually, ma'am, nakakatuwa po kasi pag nagte-training kami, we train a limited number of teachers, like 1 or 2 teachers per school. And then the teachers train the teachers in their school when they return. So, nagawa namin na ganun ka-intuitive or madaling gamitin, quote-unquote, si Vicer, na even the teachers can teach it themselves. For the ripple effect, specifically, ma'am, we are exploring partnership with other third-party companies who has more manpower than us to roll out Vicer.
Thank you so much. So happy to hear that. The rollout and the third-party engagement. That's the way to go. So now it's Alvin, your
Yes.
turn.
Thank you, Giselle. Again, Dwight, thank
Sir,
you
good
very
morning
much.
po.
Finally, we really had pushed this now to the commercial, level. And I hope that you get the full support, especially from the Department of Education and the many high schools or schools, even elementary schools that can benefit from Vicer. My question is, number one, it's important, of course, that you get a feedback, right, from the users of Vicer, and I would like to suggest that if you can connect that to the PISA competencies that we are being measured. Because I remember in your first slide, the motivation of this was you mentioned about our poor performance in maths, science, and even reading. No, now how will this be able to contribute to the improvement of the students' learning competencies or outcomes that will actually enhance our PISA areas that we are weak at. I think this is very important because it's not simply about students being able having a platform to do an experiment on. The more important thing is really the learning outcomes that comes out of it. And now the educational is also moving very fast. I would like to ask the second question, Dwight. How are you going to keep up the fast advancing in the areas of science that you need, because we cannot just use the depth ed curriculum, which could be obsolete in a few years time. I think you have to go ahead. You just don't use the depth ed. I think that can be handled by our conventional or even our current laboratory experiment. I think my take here is that Vicer should provide a higher level of training that looks at the future of science across all the applied biology, chemistry, earth science, that you have mentioned. You have to already look at 20 years from now. What are those kind of knowledge that you want our students to get an exposure of, because if we just base it, your experiments on the current requirements, that will not level up our students. That's why I would like to see you really monitoring, the Vicer's impact on the students' learning outcomes, and of course the competencies. But I commend your spin-off company, Making.technology, and be prepared for a mass production, because if it really will be promoted by us, even us, I can promote the visor definitely, but would you be able to meet this demand, and then it cannot be like 20 like a month. That's too small, Dwight, for the volume that we need. And by that time we have, baka maging obsolete na rin yung ano natin. So look at the future of visor and the future needs of our science elementary and high schools. So that's all. Maybe you can have a broad comment on that, but I'm sure this is a work in progress. Thank you, Dwight, to your team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Actually, sir, allow me to add some comments. Currently in-house, yung limitation namin ay ganun, mga 10, 20 units. We are also in talks with 3 other local manufacturers here in the Philippines, na we wanted sana na lahat ng parts na nakukuha namin, i-offload na namin sa kanila, then balik na lang nila sa amin ng assembled. Kasi again, they have manpower and kami, tatlo lang kami. Mas gusto kong mag-focus yung team namin on the sales and marketing, trainings, after sales, etc. So that way, it addresses the scaling up issue. Another is, so that's for the production side. For the sales and marketing side naman, sir, ngayon may kinakausap kaming company, si Rex. We just had a meeting with them last 2 weeks ago. Tapos, we're offering them kind of a partnership na either they onboard us in their portfolio or affiliate marketing. So they market our products, and whenever they have sealed a deal, they forward it to us and we fill the contract, something like that. So kasi ang private market, to be honest, we do not have experience dealing with the private market. Lalo na yung private schools, may sarili silang, I don't know how it works, but companies like Rex, they have mastered it for years, quote unquote, being in the industry for how many years. So we're tapping their network for that. Yun, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dwight. I think Al, it's your time. Come on.
Okay, thank you, Dwight. I mean,
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I mean, I've been helping Visor since 2015. I remember my original pitch to Francis Varela was the USEC for Dep Ed Finance when I was with Gani, was to be able to create the demand within Dep Ed. And his suggestion at that time, Dwight, was why don't you compare a cost comparison with the experiments that you do or you can do with Visor and the cost of Dep Ed currently doing in those experiments, what equipment did they buy? That was almost 9 years ago. That was a suggestion. Awa naman ng Diyos, nagpalit ng administrasyon, tuloy pa rin yung usapan. But clearly, that counsel on the Dep Ed side still holds. No? If we can find a way to do a cost comparison, a cost-benefit analysis for them, so that we can then promote it. But of course, the whole curriculum, now there's a national science program that got promoted by the new administration, VP Sara, and you have yet to revise your 2018 science experiments in terms of what is currently being implemented now. So then another new cost comparison. I also remembered when I was chairman of System, we did have expended money. We asked Dwight if he can provide us with 2, because we're training about 800 teachers on a STEM alternative learning system under a UNICEF grant, Dwight. Unfortunately, katatapos lang nung kontrata nyo with Alexan, wala kayong unit. So clearly to me at that point, sayang yung opportunity na roll out sana natin. But that was also an indication, tama na yung ginagawa nyo. You're talking to the people who are closer to the customers, who are already training teachers. And right now, I can be happily to hear what your latest advancements are. And I'm ready to pitch again. 2 days ago, I was with the STEM Leadership Alliance of Unilab Foundation, Filipina Shell, IBM, Microsoft. And it's a conglomeration of about 16 companies, and PAASE is a new member, together with PhilDeb. And we're just going through exactly what we're planning to do for this year. We've analyzed PISA to the details of regions, needs, schools, specific areas of influence for all the foundations within the League of Corporate Foundations. So we know how to then operationalize whatever interventions we're planning to do. again, I'm still president of system. We do a lot of teacher training, both on cognitive, technical, as well as socio-emotional skills for both STEM teachers all the way down to advanced workforce development and soft skill training for
Thank
the
you.
manufacturers. So
Thanks,
the question for
Go ahead.
me is definitely from this standpoint, cost. What are your current costs now? I just said that your capacity for manufacturing is about 10 to 20 units. So at least we know what your capacity is. Of course, Ticho is here with the semiconductor EMS manufacturing. Definitely they can help you on that one. But your direction now is okay, but you're leaving, so you better hand over your marketing group to your co-CEOs. But rest assured, yeah, let us know both from my capacity from the educational STEM education as well as from I'm still part of TTBDO, definitely upscale. So come and visit us again, and we can probably reorient on what we can do prior to you leaving for Spain. Thank you.
Giselle?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. That's great. And well, let you know that last Wednesday, UP ERDFI led CIDS RTD with Secboy de la Peña and leaders of UP ERDFI, where Joey Ochave of Unilab spoke, and he said that he would lead a massive STEM project of Unilab. So this is really great news for us. We should get this to Joey Ochave. Anyway, we have other questions here, and here from Vic Ilag, he asks if there would be a way to incorporate DNA sequencing analysis and electrophoresis in this program. And my answer is, well, the linchpin of this project is really Mel Gomez, who's the same person who created the LAMP device for DNA analysis of MTech of Raul Destura. So we have to give Mel Gomez proper attribution, and he can easily do this, Dwight, for you, because it's so important to have molecular biology, the molecular sciences included here, the biomolecular sciences. So DNA and protein electrophoresis as well as PCR analysis should be an area of growth and development of Vicer. Now, there is another question here from none other than academician Gil Jacinto, whose wife, Sonia Jacinto, was one of your writers. She was your writer in biology, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
how long will the instruments in the Vicer package last? When demand rises, how will the company address after sales service? I think part of this was already answered. So thanks for that, Acad. Anything you want to say, Dwight?
Okay, ma'am. So, Sir Hill, hello po. How long will the instruments in the Vicer package last? Actually, sir, well, assuming ideal, hindi ilalaglag, hindi nabasa, etc. It would normally last 3 to 5 years, except for one sensor, which is the pH sensor, because pH sensors have a shelf life, almost, I think, 2 to 3 years lang because of the solution inside. So, yung may kailangan ng replenishment would be the pH sensor. Other than that, the temperature, the magnetic field, the microscope, tatagal naman po sila. When the demand rises, how will the company address after-sales services? Actually, sir, that's why we wanted really to solidify our partnership with Rex. Kasi when we had a meeting with them, they were bragging na they have agents in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao na tuturuan na lang namin. Tapos pag may bumili, sila na din yung magtuturo. And sila na din yung tututok or mag-aalaga. So may ganun silang level of manpower and yun nga, resources that we do not have, but we want. So that's what we want. So on the other side, what we bring to the table is technology. So they have technology na wala yung ibang competitors nila, ganun. So that's how we're making a deal with their office.
Okay, thank you. Alvin, another question. Elmer
Yes, go ahead. From
State University. I am not sure, New York, I am not sure if you're familiar with Vernier Science Education. Their devices are the ones that we use in our lab experiments here in the US. You can be the Philippine version of Vernier. And I was just in touch with a top official of the country, and I said, because this was undertaken during his term as a president of UP, let's export it also also to Timor-Leste and Africa, because we're now connecting with them worldwide as we continue to get this product through the not just through the DOST regional offices, but also the RICS offices of the DTI. And so Alvin, we can help we can help Dwight and Gani through USEC Fita Aldaba. Okay, so anyways, this is really great going, and I just want to say that NIP and IC just had to find its own solution to this problem, because for the longest time we were working on this with UP ERDFI and your connections in industry, also with the OVPAA and TTBDO, but no, they found their own solution. They found their own way to get a startup company headed by the PhD student and graduate, while the lead person remained in the university as dean, as a faculty, and as researcher. That's Giovanni Tapang. So that's one model that we can follow in the university. So anyway, any comments on that, Dwight, please?
Yes, ma'am. So, dun sa question po ni Sir Mohika, actually, yung in terms of cost, one of the numbers that I presented earlier, yung costly equipment, which costs around 600 to 800,000 in the Philippine market, that's actually referring to Vernier and Pasco. So that's how expensive they are. So, and that's how schools are unable to afford one unit, or if they are able to, mostly it will end up in the cabinet. So medyo ganun yung reality sa schools, no? So kailangan i-lower mo yung cost para hindi intimidated yung teachers and yung students na gagamit. And that's basically what we did. We repackaged the kit to a more affordable and a more appropriate in the Philippine setting para yun nga, schools would not hesitate to use it, teachers, students, etc.
We are being benchmarked with Indonesia, Dwight, but they have a huge population and huge GDP. So that's a potential market for you, because they're also into STEM development in their country. So now let's ask the question of Vic again. What is your margin per unit? What is total addressable market in the Philippines? Yes, what is the price level now? Al asks. I think I know that answer. Yeah.
Okay, sige. So let's talk about numbers. Yung kay Sir Alpo, what is the price level now? Currently, we're offering Visor ng around 80 to 100,000 pesos in the Philippine market. Mostly, ang nagpapataas doon ay number one, yung customs issues namin. Number two, some trainings, especially kung provinces, would cost airfare 10,000. So medyo may mga ganun kaming kailangan i-consider. Of course, royalty din to the university, etc. But ang aming ang tawag dito, bill of materials is around nasa at most 30,000. So ang margin namin would be around 70%.
Okay.
Wonderful. Kasi noon, nung hindi pa tayo business men, 45,000 lang yan, Al. Imagine, 30,000 ang cost, tapos 45,000 binibenta. Actually, one unit was given to me, donated to me by Gani. I donated it to Raha Soliman SNP High School in Binondo. And
Yes.
Dwight trained the teachers there. See? So they're using it, right? Pero they're waiting for the next version. And I just went there last week, and they told me that they will help me market it with the DepEd. Okay? Yon. So that's another opportunity. Pero yung version 2 na yan, no? Version 2 na ang ating papakita sa kanila.
Okay. Giselle,
Yes.
can I just, I think mura yun, you can leverage that, really the impact of that Visor. You leverage that to your costing. So not only on the basis of, but the content, its value, it's even more important, which you can actually raise your cost. What you can probably do is work with the local government. And the local government, because I'm sure if it is on a per school basis, that will even be tough, but maybe if it is for a cluster of institutions that the local government can provide. Because at the end of the day, if it will be on a the demand, I don't think you will be able to meet the demand, at the moment. So I think what you can really do is work with the local government units. They have money. If they can cluster the schools that can benefit, can host, for example, a particular institution will host, and then that can be shared, by the other schools, so that you have a trainers type of, I
Yes,
think
sir.
your marketability will, but I think you can even move, even increase that price, if you leverage on its value. What is it? It's not just the 30,000, that is the cost in itself, but the knowledge that you have put into the development. If you cost that,
Mm.
which will be at par with the verniers, I think you can move up, you can raise that price, so that
Mhm.
it can subsidize your upscaling, of your device, and
Yeah.
maybe slowly bring, if you are seeing the market, bring the manufacturing back to the Philippines. I think that's the longer term, vision. And also form a technical team, maybe at a UP, and already look at the next generation visor,
Mm.
because you have to leapfrog, to make this work, and to make it a really highly, what's this, what's this, na parang ano ba, laboratory lab in a box nga yung ano niya, highly demanded, for example, you really have to look at already the future, because otherwise matatalo kayo ng mga, international, if they are more advanced, di ba? Dapat kasi
Yeah.
hindi lang, we're not giving an impression that we can just do this at this level, but the more important is how fast can we move up, di ba? Parang ganon. So that your production, your value will move up also, even if your production cost goes down, because that's your intent. You
Mm.
have to bring the production cost down, but the value is higher, and then I think you can sell it or higher.
Al-
But I
al-
think the future is good for Visor.
al-
Yes, Giselle.
May sasabihin ako dyan. So let us put our money where our mouth is. De La Salle University is the most prestigious business-oriented private university in the country. So the first kind of PPP, say UP is public, De La Salle is private. Why don't you invest in Visor by buying a few units? And then it goes without saying, it will be the open innovation platform or era already, where DLSU engineering can really reverse engineer or tweak a Visor and bring it to the next higher level in cooperation with NIP. So pwede yun, and that will really showcase the value of PAASE, no? Yung ating PAASE group na talagang working together. Okay, there's another potential investor here. When Vic Ilag speaks, he is always looking at the business side. What is the revenue forecast for the company for the next 5 years? I presume the company is profitable already. Mukhang Vic is ready to invest his company, his funds. Oh, ayan yan. Okay. Sige nga, Visor, Dwight Visor?
Wait lang, sir. Allow me to get some slides on money. Oh my gosh. Ito po. So allow me to share my screen again.
Go ahead, Dwight.
Yeah. So yesterday I was in a meeting with the Philippine Venture Capitalists group in AIM. So, and this is basically what we presented. We started with an initial capital of just 300,000 pesos. And for last year, April to December, we earned 3.4 million. Just for, well, March 1 pa lang naman ngayon. just for the past 2 months, we already earned 540,000. So collective revenue since April 2023 was around 4 million. This year we are expecting a lot of deals that medyo mahihirapan kaming i-finance. For the public sector, we are expecting deals of almost 8.6 million, and for the private sector, almost more than 5 million. So for this year alone, I'm expecting deals approximately 13. Yeah, approximately 13 million. So, yes.
Kung sabihin dyan, I think you are neck to neck with bioassets of Homer Padua, the homegrown startup that is already making significant revenues, net profits. No? So right now, I would recommend that you prepare a proposal to the NDC, the National Development Company. Okay, so with the right due diligence, scientific due diligence, it's so obvious na very transparent kung ano yung talagang kayang gawin itong visor na to, no? So I think that that is what I would recommend, and I have already been asked that you provide the information visor, okay, by top people in DTI. And we will try to get you into the NDC funding scheme already. Okay, so any more questions at this point? I think that we have representatives from the private sector here, or UP alumni as well. But I also want to call out the TIP, Technological Institute of the Philippines, which is also into engineering, value engineering. And we also have an outstanding graduate of NIP there that is leading this kind of research. This is John Reb Bonico. Okay, so I don't know if he's here, pero we know one of the officials of TIP is here with us. Anybody? Anybody else? Yes. Let's go for PPP of UP and DLSU. This is like the best. This is like the best message that I have received so far from my highly esteemed co-host, none other than Alvin Culaba. Okay, ganyan talaga. Ganyan dapat mangyari, no? Ibuo natin to. So, sige Dwight, sabi ni Al, let us help you get the capital for scale-up.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Al, again, system was ready to buy in 2021 for our unutilized funds, but Dwight did not have units available. They solved the problem already, Al. Kaya ngayon, pwede na tayo.
Yes.
That's so, pwede na. Oo. Sabi ni Gani sa akin, ay nako, in-import namin from China. Eh sabi ko, okay, mabuti yan. First phase, import muna tayo from China. Wala pa tayong talagang major manufacturing dito eh. Okay.
Dwight, mag-aral kayo ng Mandarin.
Para
You can
bumaba yung
negotiate
cost, sir.
better with Chinese.
Oo. Ayan eh. Okay.
Anyway.
Sige. So anyway, another big player, very, very well connected, is just listening on the sides. He's very silent. This is none other than Chicho Mantaring, okay, of the Ayala Group. Kaya nakikinig pa lang muna. Kasi ang laki ng advocacy ng Ayala sa edukasyon, lalo pa ang STEM education. But we know that the leader right now is really JG Summit. Pagka SNT driven growth and development, walang cha-champion pa sa JG Summit sa ngayon. Pero let's, put them in competition and realize the value of what we're trying to do in UP. And eventually, UP Lasal. Okay?
Giselle,
Yes.
sorry.
This is
Giselle,
Chicho.
sorry.
Tito,
This is
go ahead.
Chicho. I'm
Oh,
no longer with the
Chicho.
Ayala Group.
Yeah, but
I've
you
been
have
out
such
of.
great, but you still have great influence, nako Chicho. Alang-alang sa nating mahal. Please assert your influence on the Ayala. Please.
Yeah. If I may comment lang, first of all, it's nice to know that Visor has gone a long way since I last looked at it, no. But gut feel lang, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to bring your costs even further down, because right now you're doing very low volume manufacturing. No,
Yes,
you're
sir.
doing like 3D printed casing and all of that. If you manage to get the investment in, you're going to have to invest in tooling, but that's going to bring your costs substantially much lower, and even even in volumes of the components you buy, you'll notice that if you start buying, for example, in the thousands per month, your components go down to probably 30% of your costs now. So I think you have to consider that. That's all. Thank you, Giselle.
Cool. Ang dami nating meetings dati, Chicho, Tito, no, with UP ERDFI
Yep,
and
yep.
and even VP Sin.
Yeah.
And then we always look at the value engineering, yung reliability ng instruments, no? Oo. So pwede pang kailangan ma-certify yung quality ng ating instruments. I think Hill has seemed to ask the same question. So this is so exciting to me. It's one of the most important innovations in UP and our country, because I am a champion, of course, of quantitative science, which is the basis of engineering, right?
Yeah.
So value engineering. So mukhang you asked all the questions. There is enough expansion, Vic, in terms of valuation, sabi ni Al. You know, our experts in valuation and in business development of
Tito,
Yes.
Tito asked,
If I may add, Giselle, Alvin, Dwight, one of the
Go ahead, Tito.
products of upscale was given a Board of Investments incentives, I think 2 years ago. Have you heard that, Dwight? So maybe what we can do now is also to apply for that, and maybe get your ramp up your resources to do mass production.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm referring to the fast charging machine, if I'm not mistaken.
si charge Tito. But I agree with Tito, Dwight. We need to get you on BOI's list so that you don't get taxed. You get tax holiday for an innovative product for 7 years.
Correct.
Para hindi kayo magbayad ng taxes.
Yeah.
And usually you're actually required. I don't know if they lifted that. I asked Kita before, Aldaba, kung as long as you're startup and you're innovative products, kasi normally,
You're
sabi
free.
nila, you have to file before you have your first sale. Pero
Mhm.
hindi naman pwede yun kasi wala kang pambayad mag-file. Sabi ko sa kanila, dapat within a year of selling and you have an innovative product, tapin niyo yung BOI incentive filing para tax break for 7 years, and also importation. Tama si Chicho, your importation would go down because in the BOI also there's tax-free importation of capital equipment. So if you're gonna scale up for production, definitely that's gonna come in very handy. And then, of course, the one that Giselle is alluding to, NDC is becoming more active in the innovation space, National Development Corp, and they're ready to invest. And they're doing that now with one of our first spin-offs, the MTech, is in negotiations with them. There were 3 other deals that we were working on with NDC before, including gamma sterilization about 8 years ago with PNRI, and also a separate one for environmental with Adamson. Lahat yun naipit during the transition again every time the administration came. So definitely I can try to look at the email of the what's her name, the BOI director. She actually presented in UP to all our startups about 2 years ago during the pandemic, and definitely let's make sure that you're BOI registered para hindi kayo matax at makapag-import kayo. Thank you.
So Al, thanks for that.
Thank you, sir.
We want to recognize leaders in our other universities. So SUC, Bataan Peninsula State University, and we know that we have a major 3D printing facility there also, aside from NIP and the DOST. And then we want to recognize a leader in technology, chemical and electronic technologies, Tina Binag, our PAASE BOD from the University of Santo Tomas, also with plenty of money, because they're now building a new campus in the south, okay, as I understand it, in Mindanao. So can you imagine how they will equip their labs, okay, to teach quantitative science in biology, chemistry, physics, and engineering, and then earth sciences, things to do with climate change. Ang laki-laki lang potential nito. And you are the leader, Dwight and Gani. Thank you so much for your efforts.
Yay.
Yay talaga. Hill has is looking for instruments for environmental monitoring. So syempre, he's very interested in this major investment of UP, and particularly his wife, Sonia Jacinto, in biology. No? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else? Meron pa? Parang
Yeah.
okay na tayo.
The
We're
other
good.
thing the other thing that I like, Dwight, is that you're approaching it not from the national level, DepEd, but on the local level, because they have the money and they have the
Yes.
decisions, and things move faster at the city or town level.
Yes, sir.
And this is the experience of one of our colleagues, yung front learners.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Importante yan, yung on the ground nating tagline. Always, di ba?
No, they go to the LGUs.
LGUs. So, Dwight?
Because again, as I've said, the LGUs have the money.
Yes. Well, right now we're lobbying for the release of Mandana's funds, pero parang focused on S&T-driven projects, no? So yun ang ginagawa rin natin sa NRCP. So Dwight, you've been nominated for membership to the NRCP kasi ang mga projects yan funded by the LGUs, by mayors and congressmen. We were just in Mindanao for our NRCP projects, no? Please make sure that you are nominated to the NRCP, and you can also receive grants through the NRCP. Thank you. In fact, I'm going to connect you with the Siargao mayor. Okay, who's already being helped by a UST group, UP Manila group, and then now, my gosh, he's so S&T oriented. He wants to monitor the environs of Siargao for ecotourism. So this is perfect for him. Okay, I will text him in a bit. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everybody. So
Thank you.
this is one of the most productive PFPIs that we've ever been to. I think I've been. So I hope it gets better. I want to advertise the last of this series of PFPIs. This is by Erwin Enriquez of the Ateneo de Manila, because I realized wala pa tayong speaker from Ateneo. So I actually asked Toby to contact Erwin, and he finally said yes. After this last one next Friday, we are going to take a break because we're going to have the last innovation series in March. And so we will resume our PAASE for Philippine Innovation series in April. I think it will be on Wednesdays or Tuesdays, no longer on Fridays. So thank you very much, everyone. And most of all, thank you to Dwight. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
PAASE. Thank you, Dwight.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Congratulations, Dwight.
Thank you, sir.
Talk to you soon, Dwight. See you at
Yes, and we
video.
will get this message to Joey Ochave straight, fast and straight. Thank you so much, Tito.
Thanks, Giselle.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Alvin.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you
you, Tito.
po.
Al.
Yes,
See you soon.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, Feb. Thank you so much, Feb.
Feb,
Okay.
thank you.
Good job, Feb.
Always. Thank you, everyone.
If there's anything publishable here, please publish in Sci and J. It could even be just a mini review, perspectives and perspectives. But if there is a part of your project with Mel and with Gani that you can write about in Sci and J, please do. Thank you.
I have to leave now. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Giselle. Thank
Bye-bye
you.
so much, Alvin. No?
Bye. See you again. Bye.
Chicho.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.